Hey, Mary.
Hey Andrea, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Happy summer solstice.
Happy summer solstice. Full moon on the summer solstice.
Right?
Cheers.
Cheers.
What are we doing on the full moon of summer solstice?
We're watching the stock market and the crypto market. We're seeing what's happening.
And we're buying the dip.
We're buying the dip. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that was some dip. It's so funny. I remember back in 2020 and I started like heavily accumulating crypto. And at one point in the bull market, I said to Rowan, I was like, oh, we could have sold all our tokens and bought at the bottom again. So it's
Right.
right, it's so normal to have these, it's like so volatile, right? It goes up and down and up and down. Um, so it's just really interesting. So I love our group because like almost everyone was so excited that the market was dropping so much.
I know,
So
right?
because we know we're getting to a point where we're not going to be buying the dip anymore, right? We will go.
Exactly, exactly. And what I've been taught is a good rule of thumb is when everybody else starts to panic, that's when you buy. And
That's
when
right.
everybody else is in greed mode, that's when you sell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It takes a hot minute to learn like the cycles of the market and it's like an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
So once you can get your emotions in check and you understand, then it's like, okay, I'm buying the dip. And then when strangers are and friends who weren't interested in crypto start asking us about crypto, we start selling.
Exactly. 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 And from what I've learned, I've been studying the crypto market with you and Kelly and a couple of other people for 3 years now. I started buying at the top of the last bull run, which was
Yep.
probably not a good time to start, but it gave me an education.
Yeah.
And what I did learn was that the crypto market is a 4 year cycle. 4 year cycle. We have like probably a little over 2 years of a bull market, 1.5 to 2 years, and then it's going to go bearish and it's going to go down. That's the time to start accumulating again. You sell your stuff when it's going up to the top,
Yep.
and then when it gets towards the bottom, that's when you start accumulating again. And
Exactly.
it's a game. It's a game,
It's
and you
such
have
a
to know
game.
the rules.
Yep. And it's such a game. And it's like I always say, you accumulate crypto during the bear market, and then you find out how much money you made in the bull,
Right.
you know? So,
Yeah.
and we have to ride out some of this volatility. I mean, the world is chaos.
Yeah.
You can't keep on top of like all of the chaos that's going on in the world. Like, because so many people were reaching out, they're like, why is the market dropping? And I live in Florida, and I'm like, well, there's Russian warships off the coast of Florida right now. That's
Right.
not stable, right?
And it's not being covered in the news. I don't watch much news, but I try and keep an eye on, the major headlines just to
Yeah.
kind of, be aware of what's going on in the world. And I have heard nothing except from you about warships off of Russia.
Wow.
So, the news just isn't covering it. At least in my world, it's not covering it. So, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
it's really interesting. And, do you mind if I share my screen?
Oh,
We're
share away.
talking about market cycles. I want to
Oh,
share,
I think I might have to give you permission. Hold on.
okay, I want to share a chart.
I love charts.
So let me share. And I am going to share over here. And let's see, let's get back. here and connect. Can you see that on the screen?
I sure can.
Okay, so we're looking at a Bitcoin chart. Right now, 64.8 is the price of Bitcoin. But what we're looking at here is the chart going way back, 2018. But I kind of wanted to point out where we are in the current cycle in relation to where that same spot was in the last bull run. So I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna move this out. We're way up here. You know, we are, pull this out. We're sitting here at the 64.9, but in the last bull market, this is where we are in relation. We are about to take this upward turn in the bull market. And, you know, there's been a lot of, you see this pattern here. If we, let's see if I can't go back any further. There was a lot of sideways trading in the market here before it actually broke out and went into new all-time highs. And we actually had quite a downturn. It started in April of 21. It went down and people started to panic, but then we went back up. And this was the top of the cycle in the last bull run, the end of 2021. And then we started going down again. So then we started this, I'm going to say this was kind of the bottom in January of 23. So we've been starting this bull run, started a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So we've actually been in the bull run for about a year and a half. And let me widen this out. Let's take a look this way. We topped out in mid-March is when Bitcoin kind of topped out at 72 something, 73 something. And then we have had almost 100 days of just sideways trading where things have gone up, they've gone down, they've gone up, they've gone down. And it's been frustrating for folks. I mean, people who don't watch these charts and know how they operate, it's been really frustrating. 100 days of where are we sitting? What are we doing? Are we at the top of the bull run, or do we have more of a bull run left to go? So keep in mind that, you know, the bull run, the second phase of the bull run is about to start. We probably have maybe another week or so of downward facing prices where they're going to go down a little bit more. But then we're going to start going up, and we're going to have a line going up. And at this point in the last cycle, from the time it left this point and started going up, Bitcoin had another 300% to go on the upward side.
Yeah.
So if you take a look at where we are now and you add 300%, you know, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
You know,
That's a lot.
And so we have a long way to go still. And the next, you know, 4 or 5 months are going to be really interesting. And it's not a straight line upwards. We will go up, we'll go down a little bit. We'll go up. We might go down 20 or 30% on a downward motion.
Yep.
And people will panic and they'll start to sell. And that's when we're going to say, I'm not going to sell, because I know that Bitcoin especially has that potential to go up to 300% from where it was right now. And so we're going to have our heads with us. We're going to be level-headed. We're going to be practical, and we're not going to bring emotion into our trading. We are going to stay emotionless during this whole time because we know the mechanics of how it works. We know where we're going, and we know that we've put together our exit strategy. And a lot of us have put together an exit strategy where we say, okay, when Bitcoin hits this price, we're going to sell a little bit. When it hits this price, we're going to sell a little bit. Yep. And, you know, we're going to kind of know when we get to the top of the market, because everybody else is going to start to get greedy and they're going to start to buy. And that's when we know, okay, we're probably at the top of the bull run. And
Exactly.
it's time to sell whatever else we want to sell. We're going to keep a little bit in our bags, but we're going to sell. And we're going to keep that cash. We're going to put it in a safe place, and we're going to save it for when the bear market is reaching its bottom, and we're going to start to sell. And that's the game. That's where we are. So we still have another 300% to go on Bitcoin. Not financial advice. I'm not
We
saying
are
that,
not
you know,
financial
not
advisors.
financial advice whatsoever. I'm just following the trend from the last bull run. And if you actually go back and take a look and analyze the previous bull run before that, we're probably more along the lines of the 2017 bull run than we are the 2020. But it's fascinating to go back and take a look at how the market moved in the bull and bear runs of previous years, because it's a pattern. It's
It's,
cyclical,
yeah.
and it will repeat itself. It's just nature. It repeats itself.
Yep. I love it. I love it. And I love this sideways accumulation of Bitcoin right now is like we're putting in a new support.
Exactly.
So when we
Exactly.
go into the parabolic move of the bull run phase, it's going to be interesting to be like, is this 60,000-ish range, is that going to be the new low, right?
Right.
In the bear market? So let's see. We don't know for sure. But I mean, I'm just thrilled. I feel so blessed. And Mary and I, we are super tech nerds. We love this stuff, but
We
we're
do.
not financial advisors. Like, we never know for sure. Anything can happen. Anything can happen,
Anything
right?
can happen.
So, but when at least for me, like when I'm looking, you know, at where the future of finance is going and the tokenization and the movement of moving our current financial system of transactions and the way we store information is moving to the blockchain. So I'm trying to figure out what's going to be the biggest blockchains. Who are the winners, right? Because there's a lot of tokens. And when you're new to the market, oh my God, it's so overwhelming, you know?
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, but
Exactly.
thanks for showing that. That's
I'm
awesome.
going to stop the share.
So here's something really cool. So I was on the phone with Brenda the other day, and I'm like, okay, so back in the 2020 bull run, I started accumulating Cardano at 9 cents.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Bitcoin halved, right? Went through its halving process in May of 2020.
Right.
Cardano was 5 cents at the halving. A year later, Cardano was $2.50. That's
Wow.
it's one of the best trades I ever made in my life. But that's the power of cryptocurrency. So it's just, again, like when in doubt, zoom out.
Yes.
We're not at mass adoption yet. They're still getting, the user interface has to be like so easy, so like the average person is making transactions. They won't even know that they're using the blockchain.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So with that said, we have the MICA, the Markets in Crypto Infrastructure Bill for the European Union going live June 30th, 10 days.
That's exciting. So what does that mean?
I'm speculating, but for me, I'll tell you, I believe that the stable coin is mostly going to run on the Stellar blockchain.
Okay.
Originally, it was Ethereum, but it's been transitioning over to Stellar. They're also going to be in this process of digitizing all the trade documents. And when I hear digitization of trade documents, I think of XDC.
Okay, right.
So those are like my two biggest with this MICA bill. Super excited, and every single company needs to be in compliance by December of this year. So they have 6 months to get the stable coins and all of the things. Euro, it's the EURC, I believe, is the stable coin. There's a couple of them. I think there's 3 or 4 for the MICA bill, and it's not Tether.
Okay.
So, if you're holding tokens paired with Tether, you just want to like be careful, right? Because I don't know if Tether is going to come in compliance. They launched a backing with Alloy, so they're backing Tether with gold. But Stellar's going to do it, XRP is going to do it. You can transfer value of anything on any of these blockchains. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. But, a lot of the tokens that we've been talking about for like 4 or 5 years now, like, I feel like it's almost our time to shine.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All those puzzle pieces are starting to fall into place.
Exactly. So yeah, it's so super cool. So yeah, and then with XRP, the SEC just dropped Ethereum's, they're not gonna go after Ethereum. Surprise, surprise.
Right? Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and I don't think the XRP community is all that happy about that. I mean, they're I'm not going to say it that way. They're kind of sitting back, they're thinking, well, what about us? What if, if it's being dropped for Ethereum, what does that mean for XRP? I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Time will tell.
Well, I mean, I think some of it is just so sad, right? So for me, I'm a big, I mean, XRP Ledger, it's a great technology platform, but it's like from a monetary perspective, Ripple has spent about $200 million on this lawsuit. How much money do you think the SEC spent going after Ripple? That's our taxpayer money.
Right.
Was it 500 million, 600 million, 700 million? Why did the SEC enforcement official just resign?
Well, why are they at what is the settlement they're looking for, the fine that they want to impose on Ripple? What is it, $1 billion?
It was 1.8 billion.
Okay, I think that's what they spent. I think they're looking to recoup their costs.
Well, now the SEC dropped it to 100 million. So it's just like random. But the thing is, what institutions got hurt from buying XRP directly from Ripple? None
Right.
of them. None of them got hurt. So
Exactly.
we're going after a company that was 100% transparent all these years. So I don't know if it's just like Ripple's becoming part of the new financial system, so they have to pay an entry fee. So we'll
Right.
see.
Well, and it also could be their way of trying to slow down the adoption of the market
Yeah,
until they have their ducks in a row and everything is in place. I think there's a lot of that going on as well.
absolutely. And to give Ethereum the edge, right? Because
Yeah.
JP Morgan is a big proponent of Ethereum. They
Mhm.
copied Ethereum's blockchain because it's all open source, and they created a permissioned blockchain called Onyx, and then Consensus, and then they bought MetaMask. So it's like they're so biased towards Ethereum. Ethereum is a chosen winner, but at the cost of like partially Ripple's success. But its blockchain is global. It's not
Right.
just the United States. So I believe all of these projects are winners. How much we'll see. I know for me, I would rather send you XRP than Ethereum because the fees are so high. Right? It's
Absolutely.
like,
It's a no-brainer.
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And like I taught a class last night and I just have to tell the class, look, if you own Shiba Inu, if you own Polygon, anything that's paired with Ethereum, be prepared to pay outrageous fees during the bull market. But when you send XRP off to take profits, don't worry, it'll be a penny.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that's pretty cool. So, I really believe, like, obviously they're talking settlement. They'll figure out some sort of price and see if if the judge has to intervene and just say, hey, pay this much money. Ripple wants to pay 10 million. If Ripple only pays 10 million, can you imagine the bullishness around XRP?
Right. Yep.
I placed my trade.
Good job.
It's just so much fun in the market. So yeah, and XRP is coming out with their stable coin.
Right. Do you know when that's coming out? Is there a date that's been set for that, or is that still kind of fluid?
All I know is that it should be soon, whether that's a couple weeks, a couple months, by the end of the year. Like I'm not sure. But the token symbol is RL USD. So it's like Ripple Labs USD. But the CEO, Brad Garlinghouse of Ripple, he's like real USD. So let's see. Let's see.
Right.
I do believe that Stellar and Ripple are definitely a big part of the government, like the government level transactional money, which is another reason why, Solana's going to the moon. Why? Because they have 1,000 meme coins, right? So,
Right.
so all this activity is happening, but to me, cross-border payments and banking the unbanked, like that's the new financial system, right? So super bullish. I mean, I don't know how many times I can talk about XRP and XLM, but it's so fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to dive into our favorite coins at this moment in time?
Yeah, go ahead. What's your first one?
Well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna stick with right now. Bitcoin is my favorite one. It's gonna be at the top of my list only because it was the first coin ever released. It was the creator of this whole ecosystem, and it's done extremely well. It has totally changed our financial lives, even though most people aren't aware of it. It has totally changed their lives, and they'll become aware in the next couple of years. And it's solid, it's stable, it leads the market, and it has a lot of value to it. Where Bitcoin goes, so does every other coin. So it's kind of the sun that I follow, and it's fascinating to watch what it does. So that would be my first pick. What about you?
I love it. Yeah, well, let's just to kind of go on Bitcoin, like usually all the money flows into Bitcoin first, right? During a bull market, all the money flows into Bitcoin. We had the release of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, right? So now an average retail investor can just contact their, whoever their money is with their brokerage account and purchase, spot Bitcoin, right? So very interesting. And then the money flows into Bitcoin, right? And then it'll go into Ethereum. Ethereum, okay, SEC drops the lawsuit on Ethereum Foundation. And now we're going to see when Ethereum ETFs are going to launch.
Right.
That's going to be super bullish. They're already approved. They have to file their S1 forms. They got to, dot their I's, cross their T's, and then that's going to be launched. That's going to be super bullish for Ethereum. All right.
I thought it was interesting in this, sorry to interrupt, but when Bitcoin ETFs were approved, they were launched the next day. Everybody had everything lined up already. So I'm just curious as to why it didn't go the same way with Ethereum. Do you
I
know?
I think that, I mean, I can speculate, but I feel like Gary Gensler, he's the commissioner for the Securities Exchange Commission, the SEC. And I think he was like trying to like slow it down. And I think he wanted to go after Ethereum, right? Because I think like watching what the SEC has been doing is just suing innovation, right? You have a
Right?
really great idea. You can disrupt our current financial system. We're going to sue you because
Right.
we want your money, right? It's kind of like I don't know, would you call that like like gangsters?
Yes.
I don't know. Just,
Absolutely.
you
Exactly
know,
like that.
I mean, it's kind of bizarre, you know, and Ethereum was super shady. I mean, I mean, I've been following ETHgate, which is like a thing when you're in crypto. And I listened to like Bill Hinman and like all these people that works for the SEC, and they just kind of they made things up. Oh, Ethereum is sufficiently decentralized, therefore it's not a security. I mean, that's what they said during the ICO of Ethereum. So, okay, but you don't make the laws. Congress makes the
Right.
laws, but Congress is doing nothing, right? They're still trying to be like, what's crypto? I mean, I've listened to people like, you know, when Maxine Waters, when she first started talking about Bitcoin, she pronounced it wrong. They don't know, but
Right.
they're learning. They're learning. But I honestly think a lot of it with Ethereum, you know, all the people who are high up probably called Gary and said, stop. And now we have Trump, right? You know, he's running for president. And he says, hey, the people want Bitcoin, you know, let's do this, right? And so now all of a sudden, all the Democrats, right? Because it's so sad that this is a political issue. Cryptocurrency is for everyone. The whole point of cryptocurrency is we could do peer-to-peer transactions without the government's approval. It's a
Right.
non-government issue. It's kind of sad to see, but I think that because Trump said, you know, he met with the Bitcoin miners and he was like, let's get all the mining, let's bring it to the United States. Now, that's not going to happen, right? Because that's not what Bitcoin mining is. So,
No.
you know, and Trump will say a lot of things that it's just not true, right? But but then he said something about Bitcoin stabilizing the energy grid. Very interesting because he met with them. So I think he's starting to get an understanding. So the Democrats are like, well, we got to get all these Bitcoin voters. We need the cryptocurrency voters. So all of a sudden, you know, Chuck Schumer and all these people from the Democratic Party, they're now they're on board. Everyone's getting on board with crypto except for Gary Gensler, Senator Warren, and President Biden, because Biden still vetoed SAB 121, the staff
Right.
accounting rule that is blocking banks to hold our Bitcoin.
Exactly.
So, you know, so we just, you know, my personal opinion, I mean, I'm not a political person. I think all of them are pretty bad. And I follow it 24/7. I had no idea, Mary, you know, but I'm pro-human, right? I just whatever's going to make our lives better, let's just go with that, right?
Right.
So, but I think it's like a big political issue. Gary Gensler probably got a lot of heat, and boom, the Ethereum spot ETF got approved. So let's see when this gets launched, but it's going to be a huge catalyst for Ethereum and just for crypto, because then it's going to be like, who's next? Is it Solana? Is it XRP? Is it Chainlink? You know, who's going to be the next after Ethereum?
Exactly. Exactly. I kind of think it might be Solana.
Right. I do too. You know, and again, it's like so much venture capital money is in is in Solana. So,
Yeah.
you know, they have a lot of sway. Brad Garlinghouse was saying maybe, you know, 2025 for XRP. So we'll see. We'll see. It's just going to be super interesting. But again, when I look at the European Union, their regulatory framework bill is live in 10 days. And our regulatory framework bill just got passed in the House of Representatives. Like, we are so far behind.
Yeah.
So, it's we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Interesting side story. I have my feet in two worlds. I've got my foot in the crypto world, and I still have traditional investments in the traditional world with my IRAs and a financial advisor. And I was recently moving a couple of IRAs, and I said, can we invest in the crypto market? Do you have any funds that, any Bitcoin funds that we can invest in? And he said, they're not even allowed to use the word. They're not allowed to even go there, which is really sad.
It's
Really,
so
really
sad.
And yet, on the other hand, I'm speaking to the financial advisor and we're just regular chit chat. He's pretty heavily invested in the crypto market. But from a professional standpoint and his clients, he's not even allowed to use the word.
So
Which is,
interesting.
it's really interesting. I don't know if I were a financial advisor, if I would be able to straddle that and advise my clients appropriately. I don't think I'd be able to, but that's why I'm not a financial advisor.
I know, me too. I looked at becoming a financial advisor right back in 2020 because I'm so heavily into this, but I actually became a like a DeFi, a decentralized financial expert, right? So I decided to go that route because that's the future, not all this traditional finance stuff, So yeah, so it's so interesting. But with that said, Franklin Templeton is looking to launch a cryptocurrency fund. So it's coming. Grayscale's got a whole bunch. They got a large cap crypto fund, but it's not going to be with your regular, financial advisor that you go to. And they'll say we're just so conservative. But what does conservative mean? Conservatively losing all my money, right? Because 6 months ago, right, January 1st, Bitcoin was $42,000.
Right.
6 months ago, it's gone up over, it went up over $30,000. And now we're building support around that 60 something $1,000 range. So, I would take that conservative bet. So it's, but everyone that I know that I've talked to their financial advisors, the CBDC, central bank digital currency, that's a conspiracy theory. That's what they told one of my clients. And I teach classes and I'm pulling up the Federal Reserve website and the Fed Now payment and app. And I'm like, okay, we just went live with 40 different banking institutions. Couple months later, all right, here's the website again. And I'm showing all the institutions, hundreds of them, right? And we're getting ready to launch this, whether it's a central bank digital currency or a United States digital coin. To me, it's the same thing. It's programmatical money that they can program into your account. And they can also take that out. Absolutely. Which is so bullish for Bitcoin. Right. Because they can't take Bitcoin out of our account because it's on the blockchain. Try to break the blockchain that has 20,000 nodes worldwide.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It never has happened and it's not going to happen.
Exactly. So, yep. All right. So let's see. We got Bitcoin, super bullish on Ethereum, right? With everything going on.
Right.
Super bullish on XRP.
Super bullish on XRP. Yes, absolutely. XRP is, I think in this bull run, it's going to skyrocket. how can it not? If everything is settled, they pay their fine. They've got their entire infrastructure into place on all the various projects that they're working with, and they're just set to launch so much of that. And we're just waiting for all of this SEC stuff to settle in the dust.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, and it's there's so many things around XRP, right? So, and Ripple just bought another custodian company. Um, and it's just, I think it was like, what was it called? I want to say Santander, but it's not. That's a bank.
I remember when it
Let's,
happened, but I can't remember the name of it.
I know, me too. And I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. But but then they got their stable coin. They launched their automated money maker. I call it money maker, market maker, automatic money maker. Do you like that? I always say that because
ATM.
we're making money, baby. I know, right? And then we got the Flare network, right? About to go live. I'm super
Right.
bullish on Flare. I just bought more Flare before the podcast. I can't stop because Flare is bringing smart contracts to non-smart contract platforms. XRP is about to be launched on Songbird, which is the canary network, the test network for Flare.
Right.
And we're going to be able to earn yield on our XRP. And that's going to be launched first. Okay. And that's coming to Songbird probably within like the next couple weeks.
Nice.
Right. The lawsuit's going to end. I would think August, September. It should, or maybe tomorrow. We don't know, but look, this lawsuit started in 2020. It is definitely closer to ending than beginning, right? We're in the last,
Oh
we're
my
in the
God, I hope so.
I know. I've been holding this token for so long, but it's why we diversify and we're not super attached. Companies can have in these projects, they can have the best technology, but if the government is against it or if they have a different idea, we could see how manipulated some of these things are.
Right.
But
Right.
and the other thing I'm super bullish on is like the metaverse. This future verse, right, that uses XRP as the token in their ecosystem is building an interoperable metaverse experience that is going to blow people's minds. So I can be like, hey, Mary, where'd you get that awesome Life is Good t-shirt? And I can put not that I would do this, but I could put my headset on, go into the metaverse, shop virtually, and buy that shirt and pay for it in XRP, and it'll get shipped to my house. Right. So commerce and the way that we live our lives, and we're so early, this isn't going to happen like tomorrow, but I see how this is being developed, and just being able to be in one metaverse and go into a different metaverse, all being connected, right, through the blockchain, right, through the infrastructure that they're building. And that's the root token, which is what I've been talking about as well, right? Bringing interoperability to the metaverse through the futureverse. Ready Player One has its Readyverse, and that's going to launch on the futureverse.
Right.
So it's all helping bring liquidity to XRP. So XRP is going to start being used, right? Because we need utility for these tokens, right? A lot of things that we see right now, it's testing, they're being piloted. And even when it goes live, it's such a small amount. But that small amount will grow and grow and grow and grow.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story. I participated in a meeting on the metaverse a couple of weeks ago. And it's a regular meeting, and a friend of mine actually hosts the meeting. And so they have a metaverse room, And I don't have a headset, a VR headset. I had one. I bought it a couple of years ago just to try it out and see what it was like, and I did not like it at all. I love the concept, but the headset itself was truly uncomfortable. It was heavy. I felt like I was going to tip over. After wearing it for maybe 15, 20 minutes, I felt a headache coming on. It just wasn't for me. They're going to have to improve those headsets to where they're a pair of glasses.
Yeah. And they have,
Or
and it's coming. It's coming.
it's coming. It's
Yeah.
coming. Yeah. And so I'll dip my toe in it a little bit later when the technology improves in terms of the weight and,
Yeah.
But this meeting was fascinating. So I didn't have a headset and it was like a Zoom meeting, but everybody else had a headset. It was like this big U-shaped table. They had their personas all set. And it was like Zoom on steroids. Instead of seeing everybody in little boxes, you saw the conference room and everybody sitting around the table. And I wasn't represented there because I didn't have a headset. So I was like a Zoom square up in the corner, which was fine with me. It was a fascinating experience. People could raise their hands, they could chit chat back and forth. There wasn't a lot of the audio breakup that you get when people on Zoom are talking back and forth. I could just see the potential of this. It was fascinating. So, and that's just at the very, very beginning.
Right.
And the other thing I have with the metaverse is, it's all hosted by Facebook, and it's got to break out of that. We can't have Facebook leading us down a path again. I mean, Facebook led us down a path back in 2008, I think, 2007, and created a whole generation of people who have their face in Facebook all the time. And I can't do that. And so I can't do that with the metaverse either. But it's the very beginning. It's going to bust out, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes in the next couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. Here's a question I have for you.
Yeah.
So in the meeting, did everyone have legs?
They did have legs.
Wow. So that's
let me think.
because there was no legs in the
I
last
don't think they had legs.
We don't have legs in the metaverse yet.
No, we're cut off here.
We're
There's nothing
torsos.
below.
We don't have legs in the metaverse. I mean, this is crazy. So
Well, it's interesting because there was the conference table, and you could see the people bobbing up and down, and they had arms, but yeah, I don't think they had legs.
no, we don't have legs yet. So we're early. That's just a good sign of like we're still early. But it's one of the reasons why I bought the root token. I like the infrastructure of these projects. And I'm hoping too, like, I don't want people participating in Meta's, metaverse, right? That's why Facebook changed their name to Meta for Metaverse, So, very interesting, but it will be where your glasses, you'll just hit a button, and the technology is growing at an exponential rate. So it'll get better and better and better and better. And before you know it, like people will just be immersed in this virtual reality world. I've had so many people tell me, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, do you work full time? Do you have a meeting? Your meetings will be in the metaverse.
Yep.
So people like us, we'll either, retire on crypto. It's like, we don't need jobs when the robots come because we'll be retired. I mean, if we're going to participate in society, like this is where we're heading.
Right.
So, and there's pros and cons to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting. So what I'm hopeful about is that we have an artificial intelligence project, right? So we have ChatGPT with OpenAI, very centralized, very biased.
Mhm.
So what Fetch AI, Ocean Protocol, and Singularity Net did was say, hey, we need artificial intelligence to be open source, permissionless, and just like when more and more, and when so many people contribute, then like just like Bill Gates and a select few people like Sam Altman, who are very biased about how the world should be shaped, let's make this all open. They are combining into one project. Artificial super intelligence, the token symbol will be ASI. That makes me feel a little bit better, right? Because
Yeah.
we're not stopping this, right? Rosie
Yeah.
Rios, 43rd Treasurer of the United States. The train has left the station.
Yes.
Okay, we're not stopping this.
No.
But like, let's make it open, let's make it permissionless and accessible to everybody in a very non-biased way. Okay.
Yes.
So, you know, Ben Gerskill, he's the chief scientist for Hanson Robotics, created Singularity Net, Sophia the robot. This is what we want, right? We want these people to create, you know, a better artificial intelligence, right?
Right.
That's benevolent. I've been listening to him probably since like 2005. This man is he's such a genius, and I'm so into AI because of my background. It was just so fascinating. Sorry, my allergies are kicking today. I'm like dripping. I'm in Florida, so it's terrible. It's terrible. But so we want benevolent AI. So like I think about Ben Gerskill with Singularity Net, their partnership with Cardano. Cardano's building like its own nation state on the blockchain to disrupt government. I'm going to do a deep dive. I'll probably do like a whole podcast on it. It's fascinating. But like to me, I feel like we're going through turbulent times because we're transitioning into something better.
Right. Right. It is the chaos. It is the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
We're at the very, very beginning, and there's no rules and regulations for us, no regulatory framework. We're just kind of out here, feeling our way through. And the way it looks today is so different from when it looked 3 years ago when I first started this journey. The technology has gotten much better, more stable, easier to use.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. We're eons away from being in a place where we need to be to make this just as simple as pulling a dollar bill out of our wallet and handing it to our friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And and we're getting there, but it's going to be really interesting because we don't have a regulatory bill that has passed Congress. So when it passes Congress and gets signed into law, then it's going to be another year before it probably just goes into effect. If it follows the same steps that the MiCA bill for the European Union did, that bill was passed like a year ago, and it's just about to start going into effect.
Right, right. Implementing these things takes time. And, it's not, let's pass the bill and it takes effect tomorrow. It just doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. And it shouldn't work that way, really.
No,
We
no.
kind of want the government to be slow. This is a big deal. So I always tell people, I was always so early, right? Almost to like my detriment. But at the same time, it's like changing the financial infrastructure of the world takes time, right? This is a big deal. This is a big deal. And, so we'll see what happens. But I'm just, again, like I actually, to see things progress and to see this is going to be like a huge political issue. The media is covering crypto. Like a couple of years ago, it was a pet rock. It was a scam. It was for, people who were committing fraud, which was a lie. But like, but again, it's just like we've come such a long way. but we are still years away from mass adoption, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I agree.
know, yeah,
Yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
exactly. Exactly. That's so true. And it didn't collapse in a day either,
No,
you
no,
know?
not at all. Not at all.
So, but yeah, it was interesting because, like, you know, just to kind of like the instability and like what's going on in the world. Like, I listened to Janet Yellen. So Janet Yellen is our treasurer of the United States government. And there was a video, she was interviewed on CNBC, and they're freezing Russia's funds,
Right.
and they're earning interest, right, on those treasuries. So Janet Yellen was like, it's not theft. So they're going to take the interest and they're going to give the money to Ukraine. And I'm like, and you wonder why there's warships off the coast of Florida.
Right.
You know? And you
Cause and
wonder why,
effect.
and then you wonder why 59 more nations want to join the BRICS coalition, right?
Right.
So it's
Right.
going to be a super interesting year. It's going to be so bullish for crypto because the BRICS meeting, Mary, is October.
Mhm.
And then we have our election in November.
Right.
6 months after having, Bitcoin usually doubles.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it's like all the, you know, everything is aligning for crypto to really go into the next leg of the bull run, which is what we've been saying.
Exactly. And I've got this little chart on my wall here that I printed out a couple of months ago, and I pasted it there just to remind me. It talks all about cycles of the crypto market and the months for those cycles. And so in an election year, July is a really good month for crypto. August, September might be a little shaky. And as well as October, but November and December are traditionally in an election year super, super bullish for crypto. So I think we've got, a couple of months, July and August, where we're going to be extremely bullish. We might, have a little sideways trading or maybe even a pullback September, October time. But then, it looks like it might be bullish November and December. And that's when we're going to start looking for signs of the top of the bull run is right around the November, December timeframe. So, we've got a long way to go between now and the end of the year. We've got 6 months of trading to go. And it's going to be fascinating to see how it goes, but it's going to be very bullish.
Yes, yes. And at the same time, there's a really good possibility that the Federal Reserve Bank is going to start cutting interest rates.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's super bullish initially, and then the market crashes. So there's all of these factors that we were looking at, all of these different scenarios that can play out. But again, everything is kind of like lining up for that, so yeah, we'll see what happens. So I know the CPI numbers came in, good because they manipulate them,
Right.
but but when I went to Publix, like our local grocery store, I took a picture of the Cheerios box, and Cheerios, a family size box of Cheerios, $7.89. And there was a young man, super good looking young guy, stocking the shelves. He must have been like 21, 22. And he saw me because, I'm taking pictures for our group, and I'm taking a picture, and I'm like, man, $7.89 for Cheerios. And he was like, go look at the ketchup. So I went over to the ketchup and I was like, oh my God. So I took a picture of the ketchup and I looked at him and I'm like, do you live at home? And he was like, of course I live at home. I got to work an hour to buy a box of Cheerios.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, and all I want to do is be like, just buy a little bit of Bitcoin, $10, $20, skip going out to eat.
Yeah.
Just for now, it's just, I don't see prices leveling off anytime soon when it comes to food and energy.
Agreed. Agreed.
So, you know, we need more dollars to buy the food, but we need less Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially by the end of the year.
Oh yeah, baby. And then we're gonna get together and party. We're gonna drink our water and our unsweet tea.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. All right. So I know you own Jasmine, right? Was that on your list today to talk about? I don't hold Jasmine. I went with Akash and Flux, you know, and you know I love my Akash because I'm earning 20% every 21 days.
And I don't own enough Akash to be allowed to stake it.
Oh
So,
no.
you know, yeah, you had to have a certain level, and I can't remember what that was. So I haven't done anything with that. But Jasmine was on my top 10 list. And yeah, it's, you know, Jasmine is Japan's version of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's all about IoT, Internet of Things. And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. But I know we're running out of time, so I'll just quickly go down my top 10 list. Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, Chainlink in the number 4 spot. In the number 5 spot, I have Tetcom, which was probably my best investment to date and may end up being my best investment overall throughout the bull run. Bought it when it was $1, sold some of it when it was $40.
Nice.
It's now back down in the teens, but it's going to go way back up. So
way back up. And just because I know a lot of people don't know what Tectum is, that's a soft node for Bitcoin. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a soft note for Bitcoin, and you know, it has some pretty good utility there. Ethereum, Cardano, let's see, AGIX. Now they are merging, like you were talking about. HBAR, I'm so bullish on HBAR. It is so amazing. I've got that in my Hedera wallet.
Yep.
And that was probably the last purchase I made. I bought a bunch of it last year sometime, and recently, about a month ago, I bought some more. And I haven't really made any purchases since then, so I'm pretty excited about that. And then Jasmine, so that kind of rounds out my top 10 of coins.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Sorry, my dog's barking.
You got a dog barking.
I got my baby dog's like, hello, someone's walking on the street.
Right?
Yeah,
Walk away.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, XLM, Chainlink. Like literally, if I only could pick one stable, going to be massively adopted. If I could only buy one crypto, you know, just in terms of speculation, I would pick Chainlink, right? Partnered with Swift, partnered with the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation. The DTCC settles all of the trades, right? Quadrillions of dollars go through the DTCC. Used to be my client. They're based in like Jersey City. Very interesting. So, and again, it's like Chainlink is helping banks and institutions come to the blockchain. So super bullish on Chainlink, right?
Yes.
It's just like one of those blue chips that everybody should have. So no, not financial advice,
Exactly.
but you know, I would have exposure to that, and I do, right? Let's see, Hedera Hashgraph. I mean, when I look at all the Fortune 500 companies that hold the nodes for Hedera, IBM, Google, Wipro, like all these different companies, it's so fascinating. The technology is astounding, right? Their leadership is so solid. You know, the narrative of tokenizing real world assets, right? Love Hedera. I've been loving Near Protocol. Near Protocol is one of the first protocols on the blockchain that people are using without knowing they're using it. Okay, they spoke at the NVIDIA conference. They spoke at NVIDIA's conference, right? Super bullish on your protocol. I've been buying the dip. Ondo Finance, another one. But again, I have almost 40 tokens. I am so bullish on all of them. You know, VeChain, we don't even talk about. Cardano, we haven't talked about in a while. Super bullish on so many of these projects, right? Green technology, disrupting, you know, governments. Hopefully we could vote using the Cardano blockchain. How awesome would that be?
That would be amazing.
You know, Cardano is the most decentralized blockchain. You know, when you look at who's developing on these blockchains, I think Cardano is number 3 or 4 for the amount of development. Hedera, number 1, baby.
Wow.
I bought more Hedera on the dip. Wait, I bought a lot.
A lot.
You know, and just like, again, the launch of Songbird and Hedera, I mean, and Flare, it's just like, these are new platforms that are about to go live. So, so hard not to be so super bullish on them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, this has been great.
It's been awesome. We've gone all over the place today.
All over the place today, but we'll be back. We'll keep everybody updated. I love having you on the show. I mean, it's
love being a
awesome.
guest. Thank you.
Everybody check out Mary, just real quick, how can people find you?
Computerdiva.biz, B-I-Z, is my website. I own a computer repair and consulting business. I'm headquartered in Washington State, Vancouver, Washington, and I have clients all around the world.
I love it. I love it. So everybody check out Mary Berger, computerdiva.biz. Website is down below. And yeah, so Mary, until next time we meet, what are we going to do?
Hodl on.
Hodl on, y'all.
Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.